Hello, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your tarot reading. Please come into this reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to learn something or better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate for you, that's totally fine. Feel free to push them aside. You may want to revisit them at a later date. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is, of course, optional advice, guidance, and energy check-in. So all that being said, well, let's try and have some fun and get you some helpful, insightful messages here. All right, two more. All right, let's do it. I'm going to move these up a little bit. My stones are in the way. Here we go. All right, so center your spread, you have 10 of Pentacles. Loving that for you guys. 10 of Pentacles is an excellent money card. It does have to do sometimes with family, legacy, history. You know, I use the word tradition loosely, but sort of something that essentially could make the history books, right? I think legacy is a good word for that. All right, let's see. So then you have a Queen of Cups. I'm getting sort of a protective energy of your family, feeling the need to protect your family, and maybe keep them out of the spotlight or out of the headlines, or I don't know. I know this is kind of a big leap or a big stretch for me in terms of understanding what this message is. But for some of you, I feel like there's this with Cancerian energy with the Queen of Cups. It's like that nurturing mother type energy, but it's very defensive. It's very protective. So something about protecting a child, protecting a parent, protecting the family, or the family fortune, the family legacy. If it's not protection and defense in terms of, you know, fighting for safety, that's probably not for most of you. It could also be the idea of, maintaining or preserving some sort of, some sort of thing that's been a tradition or like a long-standing tradition in the family. Or I use it loosely, but for some of you, it's like the family fortune or something of that sort, especially in terms of something that's been passed down through generations, career-wise, work-wise, the family business with Virgo energy that frequently has to do with, work and service and what we provide essentially. The Virgo is a card of internal wisdom and seeking of wisdom, right? From external to internal, or vice versa, I suppose. But whatever the little hermit shines his lantern on is what we're wanting to focus on. So again, here it's this 10 of Pentacles. It's the family, it's the money, it's the roots, it's the legacy. So let's see where else this is going. With the King of Swords, I am kind of wanting to say protecting something. So again, maybe there's like a contract or some sort of negotiation that maybe it's causing some stress, but I do see that, I do see solutions being found. I do see you kind of working through, the gritty details in order to get to this place where you feel at ease and you feel like you, I'm hearing the word, sorry, there's two different thoughts here. I'm hearing words like modernize or bring it into sort of something that's more current, more trendy, more, I don't know if it's on brand, but I don't know, the way the magician is pointing down here, it's like we're taking whatever this is, this thing to do with the family, and we're updating it or modernizing it or like bringing it into a more current state or status. I hope that makes sense to some of you. This is all over the place. I don't really know what to do with this message. Anyway, that's coming through. I think that's confirmation just for some of you who need to hear it. If there's anything else I can pull from this, we're going to move on in a minute. I'll get you some other messages here, but I don't really know what this is about. I think maybe it's just preparing you or, I don't say warning in a bad way, but sort of getting focused. There's a lot of mental energy here with King of Swords. You have double Virgo energy, maybe some Gemini with the Magicians. There could be difficult conversations with a sibling about a family dynamic or needing a sibling to pitch in more. Or I hate to say it, but some of you, it's like you may have to ask a sibling or someone close in the family to step down. It could be an uncle, a cousin, someone who you don't necessarily feel it has the best interests of the family or the tradition in mind. You seem to be like carrying the torch, Aries, which doesn't surprise me. That feels like a very Aryan message. But yeah, it's like you seem to be the one with this sort of initiative or this drive, this motivation to, for some of you, it's like modernize something. So maybe it has to do with property and land and a household. Maybe you're inheriting your parents' house, and with that, there's a lot of changes and updating and things of that sort. A lot of Cancerian energy too. You have three cards that I associate with Cancer, which again has to do with our legacy, our roots, our family, our past, our tradition, our bloodline, things of that sort. Some of you may even be interested in getting like those DNA tests to see what your history and your roots are full of in terms of, you know, where you come from. And there might just be more of a curiosity with that. For some of you, there may be some big secret revealed about the family, something that you didn't know or information that you weren't privy to. And it may have to do with some sort of contract or inheritance. Others of you, it might be more to do with, gosh, this sounds like the plot of a movie, but some sort of revealing information about a family dynamic. Perhaps someone that you thought was a blood relative actually isn't. It may have to do with, like, I don't know if it's adoption or something about something, the idea of someone who was more on the outside that was brought in that you assumed to be family. I don't know if this has to do with trust issues. For a lot of you, it's more the idea of something that you were told to be true is contradicted or turns out to go another way. And so, I don't know, for some of you, I'm getting the idea of like feeling a little bit, I don't know if it's lied to or backstabbing or neglected. Others of you, it's just kind of like this. It's not necessarily that you're holding a grudge. It's just this information is like, oh, okay, maybe this changes things a little bit. And for some of you, it's not necessarily a negative message. I could see it going different ways, but I don't know. Initially, there is some shock and the surprise of some sort of revealing news. And I do think that has to do with land, property, or some sort of job or title that maybe you thought you were inheriting, and maybe it gets split or divided between people. And I am sort of feeling like the idea of exclusion. So it could be that you have 3 siblings, but for some reason or another, or this may have to do with your parents. A parent may have multiple siblings, but for some reason or another, the inheritance only goes to some of them. Like there's something about unequal or unbalanced there. And I don't know, for you, it might be this weird feeling of like guilt or, I don't know, resentment of someone who maybe didn't see things as being team oriented and we're all in this together. For some of you, it's like it's every man for himself, and I don't think you like that. You're trying to bring like the structure back to it. You're trying to bring the good people back together. Some of you are trying to help a mother through a difficult time. I don't know if it has to do with an illness or the loss of a job, but and it may have to do with a Cancerian person. You have two very strong cards of Cancer right next to each other, as well as possibly Pisces. Sometimes I see the High Priestess as Pisces or even Aquarius. And yeah, with this kind of Virgo energy too, the sign isn't super important, but for a lot of you, it seems like maybe a maternal figure, it could be a grandmother, an aunt seems to be grieving the loss of something right now. It could even be grieving the loss of a pet, an animal that they were very close to. And I don't know why, but I sort of get this mixed message of feeling like you want to keep your distance, but also wanting to kind of like rush in and save them and try and bring them back to this happy state. But it's like, I don't know if it sort of feels like unrealistic expectations. Like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to fix this when maybe really there isn't anything to quote unquote fix. Maybe it's just sort of this, emotional process that this person has to work through. And so in some ways I'm wanting to say to you, Aries, like take a little pressure off yourself. Sometimes you can just be there. You don't necessarily have to have a solution or, be the fixer or, I'm hearing like weave this intricate web of how we're going to, fix this. I think sometimes it's just about being there, in silence, knowing that this person has a support system in you, I think would mean the world to them. Let's see. All right, so let's switch gears in terms of love and romance. I'll tell you what I see. I feel like there's a air sign or a Virgo, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or maybe a Virgo, or maybe a Cancer. Gosh, there's so many signs in this. Anxiety about whether to reach out to you or not. Feeling like you're very separate and independent from them. And I feel like I feel like I've given you this message recently, Aries, like you're all up in their head. They can't stop thinking about you. And they have like a vision of how things could be, but I don't know if they messed it up or you're just not interested. I don't know, with the King of Swords though and the Hermit card, I kind of see you going off the radar or off the grid, not necessarily wanting to engage with this person. And I think that they know that. So unless you're sending mixed signals and you are interested, you may want to be the one to open up the lines of communication, because I don't think they will, because they assume, like, I don't know, it feels like rejection, like they feel very rejected by you. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. It could be that you've been very busy and distracted, again, with family matters or a promotion or something at your job, where I will say there's a lot of money on the line. That seems to be your focus kind of in the coming weeks, is big ticket items or things involving a good sum of money. It could be paying legal fees or court fees, or maybe you're purchasing a new car. Maybe you're spending a lot of money on your education. And so again, with this Queen of Cups energy and her cup being closed off, there is this very protective self-preservation energy of not necessarily sharing or reaching out to a lot of different people, not necessarily sharing your energy with a lot of excess and extras. And maybe that even has to do with your friends group too. It's possible that your friends are sensing kind of a coldness or a distance from you. What you do seem to be interested in something involving travel. Again, traveling to see the mother, or communication if you live at a distance, for those who still have a mother in the picture, right? I do see a lot of things back and forth with a mother figure. Some of you are sort of going down a new path of spirituality. I see you getting really into spirituality or possibly religion. Some of you are spending more time in prayer or meditation. And that may or may not have to do with you yourself sort of going through a tumultuous ending or a breakup, or sort of having this, I hate to be so dramatic, but almost like this existential crisis of like, who am I and what am I doing? And kind of turning to spirituality or religion to feel like you know what your place is in the world again. And, having faith in a higher power, channeling messages from the divine so that you don't feel so lost on your journey. I'm not saying that's going to be a truth or a reality for all of you, but if you're the one kind of in this anxiety, Nine of Swords energy, it's like this crisis of faith. Some of you are going to find comfort in returning to religious roots or a religious upbringing, especially with a maternal or I'm going to say a maternal figure, even if it's not your exact mother. If that was sort of a theme in your childhood that you broke away from or branched out from, it might be that you return to that and find some sort of safety and security and comfort in that. Others of you, there's just safety and security with visiting the family home or going back to your hometown. Something about, again, the roots and familiarity, your childhood, where you grew up, connecting with a childhood friend, especially a Cancerian. Somehow it's cathartic. It helps to heal something that is a little bit unsettled right now. It's possible that there is a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, that is grieving not having you in their life. You definitely have some air sign energy here, and you have water sign energy here. It's almost like they viewed you as the person they wanted to build a family with, but then we have this hermit energy. So it's like something is closed off and someone ends up being single and wandering the path alone. I sort of get this idea that this water sign, every time they try and branch out and date someone new, it's like they look for you in other people. And so there is kind of this unresolved, and I'm not sure you view it this way, but what feels to them is like unfinished business or unresolved. I don't know. Something in this relationship. There could have been a difference in wanting to start a family and the timeline of that, like wanting to have children. It could be that you were very like gung-ho, let's do it, and this person was like, I don't ever want kids, or vice versa. For a majority of you, I sort of see it as this person was ready to settle down and start a family, and maybe you weren't, and so like the timing and the connection, you just weren't on the same page. There wasn't that alignment. I do see something here significant with twins or two different babies. This is obviously a very delicate message, but there could have been issues with a miscarriage or something symbolic. Even the twins can be symbolic of like Gemini energy or sibling energy, something to do with that. There could have been the mistrust of a sibling, or feeling like a sibling self-sabotaged or possibly sabotaged you in something in your relationship or your dating life. Some of you, it feels, and the messages may go vice versa. It's hard to say. So some of you may be getting a new pet, or there's a very significant storyline about a pet coming through, particularly a dog, or dogs, plural for that matter. And I don't know why that's coming up, but it's confirmation for some of you. Some of you may pursue a career that has to do with like healing, particularly animals, but it might be more spiritual healing like Reiki. Or some of you may feel like you can talk to spirits, or you're very well connected to spirit guides or spirit animals. And again, with Virgo, that something about that is very significant. Animals. And then it seems like some of my Aries are waiting for communication from a romantic prospect that they're interested in. Again, possibly a water sign, maybe a Capricorn, maybe a Virgo, but they seem to be stone cold. Like they're not talking. The thing is, they're not happy though. They seem very upset and troubled. So I don't know what this is. I don't know if you know this person and you're like the ball's in their court to reach out again and they're not. With this high priestess, she's typically like the one who doesn't speak. She's very spiritual. She's like a channel for the divine, but not someone who actively communicates. I see it as more passive and internal energy. But then you have this other energy that's very proactive and kind of aggressive and wants to, wants to move forward with things. So it's again kind of this Gemini like contradiction. It's like the two twins are fighting the battle of who's going to step forth and make the decision. I don't even know. But I will say there is this like, what I call the total eclipse of the heart energy here with the 5 of Cups. Like something ain't right. This person's very sad. They may struggle from depression. And so with that, maybe, rejection is divine protection. It's possible that the fact that you're not hearing back from this person, it may have to do with the fact that they're not a good match for you. Like they can't offer what you want and desire. And I do sense a really strong desire in you, probably subconsciously, because you like this person. It's like you want to fix them. And obviously, Aries, it's more complicated than that. There might be things about this person that you just simply can't fix. So again, that message of just being like a sounding board or being someone who they can just sit with in silence and know that you're there, that might be a better approach. Because I almost think that they don't want to burden you with their stuff. There's like a tremendous feeling of guilt and sort of this, I want to be self-sufficient even though I need help with things. There's a relationship where I will say there's not equal give and take. And sometimes that does happen out of circumstances beyond our control. It's almost like this person is just in a fragile or delicate state. And so they're not able to give to a relationship the same way you are. So it's sort of up to you to be like, okay, am I willing to, until the scales are balanced, am I willing to kind of put more effort and energy into this relationship than I'm going to get back? That's something you have to ask yourself. And I almost think the universe is trying to give you some breathing room and some time to really process that. I think there's a Virgo who may propose marriage to you, but you don't seem to be certain about that. You seem to be focused on something else, again, possibly a water sign. I do think there may be a Virgo who is a friend of the family's or a neighbor or lives, in your hometown. There's some connection to the family, but obviously it's not bloodline family. But particularly with a Virgo, there's something specific like, your parents introduced you to this person or this person used to work with your dad or something about that with a Virgo. They definitely dream about you and have eyes for you, Aries. I just don't know. I don't think you feel the same right now anyway. And it might be because you're still sort of getting over an ex or trying to determine if you have multiple candidates or multiple options who you actually see a future with. Or, are you even thinking long term? Maybe some of you are trying to get out of a long-term relationship and just kind of enjoy dating casually for a bit before you start to, get all these intense feelings. Some of you, I think you're trying to avoid that so that you don't get your heart broken again. So, maybe you have a little bit of healing to do as well. All right, Aries, that's what I got for you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.